My name is Rizzo. I'm 25 years old. I'm from Yonkers, New York, and I work in tech sales.
Okay, is this something that you've always wanted to get into, sales or tech in general?
Um, to be honest, I didn't grow up saying I want to be in tech sales. Actually, funny enough, the my dream job as a kid, well, at first when I was a toddler, was to be a farmer because my grandfather was a farmer. And then I kind of got older, and being from the city of New York, or the streets of New York rather, where it's the concrete jungle, you don't really see much of this.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, scratch that. I'm not going to do that. And I actually wanted to be in broadcast journalism, kind of very similar to what you're doing here. I went to school for it. I covered sports. I did the whole 9 yards. And then as we got towards, post-college and looking into a career, I actually support a lot of my family in terms of helping my parents and my younger brother. So I mean, I don't know. I'm sure they're paying you well. But, broadcast journalism doesn't really pay that much to start off.
Yeah.
You're pretty much working for free. And for someone in my position, it was like, I can't afford making $13 an hour when there's a lot more that needs to be done. So I ended up segueing into something that I'm really good at, which is people, I'm really good with people. And I thought, what better way to do that than kind of get into sales? And the tech company that I work for, at least, isn't really commission based.
Okay.
So it's not much where it's like, all right, it's like that car sleazy salesman where it's like, you really want this 2002 Toyota Corolla with 600,000 miles on it. It's a steal of a deal. I'm not nothing like that. I essentially just sell tech to people, and if they buy it, great. If not, on to the next. And I've been there for the last 4 years, and I love it. I've got two of my best friends into the company, so I really can't complain. It allowed me to be here, so
Yeah.
can't complain.
Well, let's go from tech sales to no tech, but a lot of selling, I imagine, on your way
Yeah.
to that $1 million pitch. Talk to me about your history with Survivor and what made you decide to make that leap from fan to player.
For sure. I think, well, growing up, I watched a lot of TV. A lot of TV. Both my parents immigrated from Albania, so they are blue-collar workers. They're both custodians. They basically clean shit for a living, and they still do to this day. So a lot of my childhood was just watching TV. So I was at home raising my babysitting my younger brother while the TV was babysitting me. So I was really into Legends of the Hidden Temple,
Hell yeah.
Guts, all those Nickelodeon shows. And I remember, and I said this during my casting process because it's such a core memory. I was scrolling through the channels, and I just see Jeff is like, JT, do you want your tooth back? And JT's like, yeah. And then he just flicks it to the side, and I'm like, what is this? This is insane. So I was a 8 or 9 year old kid watching Tocantins for the first time, and that episode got me hooked. I just figured out how to watch
You were
it.
at an age where the Tooth Fairy was around. You're like,
Right.
oh, I didn't realize that he looked like that.
Yeah, and honestly, it was just surreal that JT was like, yeah, give me my tooth back, and he just flicked it away and then still did the challenge, and they ended up winning immunity. And I guess it worked out because the challenge they did was very sportsy, and I'm a big
Right.
sports guy, so I was like, this is sick. And then you get into Survivor and keep watching, and from that point on, I fell in love with the show. I consider myself a super duper fan. I'm a student of the game. I'm sure, I don't know who you talked to so far. They're all like, oh, I'm a fan. I'm telling you, I live, breathe, die this shit. I'm not an RHAP Patreon, so I'm sorry, Rob, but
Not yet, at least.
yeah, I guess not yet. But I'll listen to the exit interviews. I'm very familiar with what you do, with what Dalton does. I love this shit. And the fact that I'm here, I've always manifested. When I'm telling you, when I saw that episode, it went from I'm gonna be on Guts to I'm gonna be on Survivor, and 16 years later, here I am.
Just protect your teeth.
Yeah, that's something that I got to do. Even though I don't think JT's a country boy. I'm
Yeah.
from the city. I'm not gonna do some crazy shit. So
Well, let's look back upon the Survivor history
Yeah.
that you've fallen in love with so much. Give me a winner and a non-winner who you identify with the most.
all right, I'm gonna give you two
Please.
because I'm gonna give you two of both.
Okay.
So, and the reason why I do that is because both winners I'm gonna give you and both non-winners are on opposite sides of each spectrum.
Ooh, okay.
So the first non-winner I'm gonna go with is David Wright. I
Nice.
think David Wright. I think what. So JT and Tocantins was my love of Survivor as a casual fan. And then I think Millennials versus Gen X, I was around 17 years old is when I really got into the online Survivor community and everything in terms of the content. And David Wright was somebody that I just admired. I absolutely loved. And I think his game and what he stood for really resonates with me in my life. I think David went from zero to hero very quickly. He went from nothing to the best player of his season. He went from bottom of the barrel to never giving up. And the big mantra that I go by is never give up. Shout out John Cena. That's my idol. But it's just that never quit attitude. And that's something that I take in my life to never quit. And that's exactly what David Wright did and embodied. And that's what I hope to do. I don't, David's hilarious because like he was like crying on day 1 and day 2 he was like, what am I doing here? Then to realizing his self-worth, like he went through this whole arc. And I'll go to my second favorite player on the opposite side of the spectrum, which is pretty much a deep cut, but it's actually DK Chillin.
Ooh, that's a name I haven't heard in years.
And you might be asking like, why DK Chillin? So I go by the nickname, the man, the myth, the legend, RIZGOD, Riz God, baby. That's my thing.
I feel like, Riz has had a resurgence, if you will,
and
too.
And it kind of cringes me out because I didn't patent it, clearly, but I, made that shit up in 2016, where my nickname originates from. I remember, it is self-proclaimed, by the way, but just going through my life, with how I was raised and with raising my young autistic brother and just so many things that went through my life, as I grew older, start having these conversations with friends, colleagues, whatever. I'm like, what did you do or whatnot? And they'll be like, oh, man, I just went to Little League and this whatnot. And I'll be like, damn, I'm 14 years old doing my parents' taxes. And I'm helping my parents close their first house at 21. And I'm doing all these things. And it's it doesn't line up to what other people my age at the time kind of went through. Yeah. So I kind of was like, damn, I'm what a lot of kids say these days, I'm him, I'm that guy. So I was kind of workshopping growing up, I need to give myself a nickname. And I was like, I'm a god. And I was like, that doesn't really sound good. And then I was like, wait, Riz God. And it flows really well off the tongue. And it's kind of something I live by. My friends and family, my coworkers even call it to me. And to the people watching, I'm sure is like, oh, this fucking tool, this guy who calls himself Riz God. And broader spectrum, bigger picture, that's what it is. It's kind of like a confidence boost. But when you really get to know who I am, it's just kind of what I live by. It's my inspiration, kind of like that never give up. If you're not dreaming big, dream bigger. You know what I mean? I want to inspire people. I want to inspire my family. I want to prove to them all the sacrifices my parents made at home is worth it. Not only because I made it on Survivor, but I'm doing the damn thing. I'm crushing it in life, and I just want to inspire that to other people. You know what I mean? I think for Survivor, for me, I look at JT, I look at David, and they inspired me to push through perseverance, and I want to do the same for the next generation.
Yeah.
So the DK Chillin thing comes back to it because Dean, even though he started off kind of slow, had that I guess alter ego, DK Chillin, right? Once he started to get advantages or his foot under his feet on the rug or whatever the saying is, ready to play the game, he started to get more confident. And even though, as a fan, I knew Tommy was going to win, it was wow, Dean's about to put up a good fight at FTC. You know what I mean? He's got that heart that you need to win at the end. And I think my whole mantra out here is going to be, I'm Rizzo to everybody, but behind the scenes, to my confessionals, I want to have a fun time. I'm the man, the myth, the legend, RIZGOD.
I was going to say, we're going to stand there on day 1 and be like, Jeff, call me Riz God.
No, I say this to everybody. I'm not going to introduce myself like how I met you. I don't introduce myself as, hey, Mike, I'm the man, the myth, the legend, RIZGOD, Riz God, baby. It comes off pretty facetious at the start, but once you get to know me, I pierce a hole in that armor, then maybe I'll bring it in. I don't intend to bring it into the game because I don't want to give these people ammunition, but I think the man, the myth, the legend is going to make a stamp here on season 49. And then to kind of segue into the winners.
Yeah, talk me about some winners.
Yeah, I'm going to go with JT just because that's where my love for the season, or my love for Survivor started. JT's my favorite player ever. And he kind of gets a lot of hate. I don't want to say hate, but a lot of people discredit what he did on Tocantins because of his last few performances, which, hot take, I do think what he did in Heroes versus Villains, given the information he had at the time, was the right move.
I feel you there.
And the only reason why, and not to go too deep into it, but when you don't know who Russell Hantz is, you don't get any idea or any inkling what it is. Parvati ran the Black Widow Brigade. So with JT's mindset, it's dude, if I give him this idol, he's going to flip with us. And if it works, JT probably could have been the 2-time winner. You know what I mean?
Not to mention there's the whole thing where, he found the idol in front of his tribe, and the tribe
Right.
was like, "Oh, let's do this thing." He can't be like, "No."
Right. So I think obviously if you flip the coin, everything's different. It's a whole game of what ifs. But I think he could have played well. And then Game Changers, he had that beef with Michaela, didn't play the idol, whatever. But what JT does that I admire is he always plays hard. Jeff always says, if you're not going to play this game hard, realistically, there is only one winner at the end of the day.
Right.
Are you going to play fearful or fearless? A lot of the times, the people that win play fearless. And that's what I intend to do, and that's what JT does a lot of the time. So even though the more he plays, the worse he does, he'll always be a hero in my heart.
And listen, he won on his first try. It could be the same thing with you.
And it was a perfect game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, with the other games he's played, it's kind of gone in the gutter. But, like, it's objectively, like, one of the best games ever played.
Yeah.
So I hope to kind of replicate that. That's kind of my strategy a little bit, in a sense. Like, I want to be the guy that everybody loves. And then to go... Well, actually, so I'm a really big Tony. I like a lot of players, but I won't go too much into it. Tony is someone that I like, but he's not who I admire. The other winner is Denise Stapley.
Ooh.
I think Denise Stapley, kind of going back to the David Wright thing, embodied never give up. Imagine if I told you before you go on Survivor that you're going to go to every single tribal council.
Right.
You're going to be like, put me on the next season. Like,
Yeah.
that's brutal. And Denise, I mean, the new era is a shit show in terms of, like, disaster tribes. But Matt Singh was the OG worst tribe of all time. And Denise and Malcolm, who I admire a lot too, went through the fucking shitter. And
Yeah.
Denise, every single time, got back up. And Denise didn't, like, play this, Boston Rob, Puppet Master kind of game. But she had grit, she had heart, and she had what it needed to take to get to the end and win. And even though it was cutting her close ally at number 4, she was sitting next to Scoopin' and I think Lisa, and it's like it was kind of a clean sweep at that point. So that's kind of what I'm taking into this game. I never want to quit, never die attitude. No matter if I'm on the bottom, no matter if I got blindsided, no matter if everything looks bad, I'm going to fight because Denise proved it that you can go to every single tribal and still win this game.
So let's talk about what from your life has you're bringing into this to help make the RIZGOD what he is. What's one life experience you feel has prepared you the most for what you're about to undergo?
So I think when you think of successful in America, right, I think you think of super wealthy, super rich, has a lot of things going for them. And I feel very rich in other aspects. I think things that matter more to me in terms of values, core memories, stuff like that. So for me, I wouldn't say I had like this life-altering experience, but I think just my upbringing in general. I kind of touched about it earlier.
Right.
I think coming from an Albanian immigrant household, and fun fact, I am the first Albanian player or Albanian descent player to ever play Survivor in 49 seasons. So I'm taking that as a badge of honor. I want to represent my small Eastern European country.
Hell yeah.
I want to prove to everybody that, and sometimes Albanians kind of get a bad rap with like the mafia and all these movies and stuff, but like I want to show people that we're good people and that we can come out on Survivor and win too. But just with that aspect, my parents both came here, and they came here arranged, so they married each other off a photo back 26 years ago, and they moved together. 9 months later, I popped out, and from there, in a 500 square foot apartment in New York, we kind of got raised, and we went through the motions there. Then my young brother comes in, and this last season, or currently going on 48, really touched me because my brother was diagnosed with autism at a very young age, and my parents being from Eastern Europe, they're pretty ignorant to like, autism and like stuff like that. At the time, obviously,
of course,
it's different
yeah.
now. So it was hard because now, as I don't want to say I'm the golden child, but like as someone that my parents rely on to go chase the American dream, right? They come here to sacrifice so their kids can go live out the American dream. I'm out here going to live the American dream while I also have to worry about my brother because my brother lacks social cues, doesn't really have that many friends. Like I'm his best friend, and he doesn't even know I'm out here because he has a big mouth. And if he's watching, I'm sorry I didn't tell you, but he just thinks I'm on a work trip. But it's something that I held very close to my heart because I want to help him succeed, and just knowing that all the PTA meetings that I went through, everything that was needed to help raise him while raising myself was a lot. And I had this funny casting story, which is still true, and I brought it up earlier, is once I got to a certain, like once I became a teenager, my parents literally just threw all the bills, all the responsibilities on me. They're like, Rizzo, you have school, you go to school, like here it is. So I remember I was a 14-year-old kid. My parents threw their W-2s at me. I'm like, Mom, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this shit? And she's like, you go to school, figure it out. I was like, bro, what? So whatever, I'm going on Google, I'm figuring out who to call, I'm figuring out what to do and all these things just to kind of help them and alleviate their pressure because I can't blame them. They're working 2 to 3 jobs cleaning shit just to put food on the table for my brother and I. So I'm very grateful for the life that I have, and kind of me being here is almost like paying tribute or homage for my parents and showing them that their American dream was for me to fulfill mine, and here I am doing it.
Incredible. So give me your biggest superpower and your biggest piece of kryptonite coming into this game.
You know, it's funny because I think my superpower is my kryptonite.
Ooh.
So my superpower, I think I have a lot of them, but my superpower is that I feel like very quickly I get along with people. I think it kind of comes from this like motivational, inspiring mindset that I have. I'm very optimistic, which is kind of crazy given the circumstances I grew up with. Some people would just sit down and die and quit.
Yeah, but sometimes all you need is hope to get to the next day. You know?
Exactly. And kind of going back to the quote that I really live by, it's, if you're dreaming big, dream bigger.
Yeah.
And I think for me, just that mindset of always knowing that something great's going to happen. I always knew I was going to be on Survivor, and now here's the day, and I'm going to go out there and play hard. God forbid, knock on wood, I'm first boot, which would be brutal. At the end of the day, I'm going to have 2 hours that I get to watch with my friends and family. 2 hours that the whole country of Albania will watch and say, wow, there's somebody of our descent on this TV show. Worst case, I'm going to have 2 hours of memories that I'll show my kids' kids. Like, you know what I mean? Like just a log of me playing my favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to kick some ass. And I think just me being that people person with it being in sales, just that inspiring mindset, I'm hopefully going to get along with a lot of these people, and I think it's going to do really well. And it's not going to be me being like, I'm the man, the myth, the legend. You saw me win immunity? Like, it's nothing like that. I think I'm a very empathetic person, too. You know what I mean? I think when Survivor is great on TV because they get all the best moments, but reality, there's a lot of downtime in here, and there's a lot of lows for people. And if I'm that person that can kind of comfort them, kind of what Joe did to Eva, and like that was such a big thing in my household. My brother doesn't even watch Survivor, but I made him watch that episode just to realize that he is seen, he is felt, and it was such a powerful thing. And Joe kind of not that he inspired me because I was going to do it regardless, but it proves that you can be a human and do well in this game. And I hope to have that relationship with everybody here. And obviously, I can't be friends with everyone because you got to backstab all of them to get the prize at the end. But that being my superpower, just being a good people person and really being empathetic and being there for people and being a good listener, I think that's my superpower. I think my biggest weakness is probably sometimes being maybe too confident. Survivor is a game of ups and downs, and as a student of the game, I'm aware of that. And I don't think this is going to be my problem in the game because I'm so dialed in. Like, I'm in such a good headspace. Like, I'm ready for this shit. Even though I've never been camping a day in my life. I've never slept outside. It's never happened. This is going to be the first time I do it on the island. So
no time like the present.
Yeah, right, exactly. So I think my biggest kryptonite, though, is like maybe getting too in my head. If everything goes well and I'm puppeteering everything and everything's going well, like I need to look at my blind spot. I need to make sure that I'm aware at all angles because at the end of the day, everybody's playing for themselves. And even though we voted together for 6 straight tribals, it doesn't mean they owe me anything on the 7th. So I think it's really just being on my toes and not letting the past or the present affect the future.
Well, let's talk about some of these people that you're hoping to connect with out on the island. Let's talk about some vibes you're getting from these players. So we'll start on the good side here. So you can give initials, you can describe them to me. Who are some people that you're like possibly already eyeing as ride or dies if you hit the beach together?
So I don't know how much content you want. I've thought of, so going into Ponderosa, obviously all we have is downtime. I didn't realize how much fucking downtime we had.
Right.
So all I brought was a notepad. I didn't bring no books. I didn't bring no iPods, no CD players. So all I've been doing is just watching these people. And I've actually associated a past player with every single person just because I've been that bored and I've had that much time. So if you're up for it, I'll go down the list as much as the people I can think of.
You know what? Let's do it. Hell, we got nothing but time out here, too.
Fantastic. All right. So the first one is not a player. It's just a person that I like just right off the bat. There's this guy that's Canadian, because I could tell from his passport, and he looks exactly like Conor McGregor. So I call him Canadian Conor McGregor. He looks just like it. His vibes, there's a lot of people that are giving me straight RBF, which is in a weird, fucked up way. Like, I'm attracted to that. It's like, you know what the fuck you're doing. Like, you know not to give these people any inkling what you're thinking, anything like that. And to me, that shows strategy. Like, you're thinking about what people perceive you as. There's a lot. It's kind of like a lot of good vibes and a lot of bad vibes. Now, I don't want to say bad vibes. Nobody's done anything to me personally, but like strategically as a game player. So we got Canadian Conor McGregor. There's one, her initials are MC, I believe. She gives me like heavy Missy vibes from
Island of the Idols.
Yes. Just because she's very, like, toned, she's very fit, she's big. She's another one that's not giving me anything, which I like. So strategically, I feel like she's going to be a big challenge presence, and we'll see what she is in the social game. There's a woman by the name of SB. She gives me Chelsea Walker vibes from Island of... I don't know why Island of the Isles is coming up, but anyways, Chelsea Walker. God, I got to go down the list. SS, she's giving me heavy Kara K vibes from David versus Goliath. Very bubbly, always smiling, giving everybody like happy-go-lucky energy. There's this one guy, MW. He has a goatee, long hair. He gives me Mike Turner vibes. He's like, I don't mean to age him, so I don't know his age, but he gives me like very Unk vibes. You know what I mean? Like he's like the guy at the barbecue where he's like he gives me like a grunt. I'm like, it's like, thanks, man. Like, I appreciate that. So he's going well there. This is a deep cut. There's this guy he's bald with a beard. He gives me heavy Jean Robert vibes from China.
Oh my God.
And the only reason why I say that is like, I don't know why. He just looks like a fucking poker player. Like, he just gives me poker player vibes. Like, he's so calculated. He also doesn't really talk much or like give much. So like, Jean Robert, just someone that I fucking love because he's so, like, stupidly funny but stupidly bad. So that's another good one. Man, I got to keep listing them off. Let's see what else. All right, well, I don't really have... I mean, I could go down the list, but they're not really coming up to... Actually, okay, I'll remember. There's SA. She gives me... She kind of, like, I guess if you say, like, archetype, she kind of looks like Charity. She has a lot of tattoos and everything like that, but she gives me heavy Wentworth vibes. Ooh. Like, I feel like she's going to be, like, the fan fave. Like, she gives, like queen energy. Like, I don't know. It's just, like, the way she walks, like, her aura. Like, I don't want to, like, give her too much credit. I don't even know her. But, like, her aura, like, radiates, like, badass player. So she's one. Dude, all I'm thinking about is Canadian Conor McGregor.
No, that's fine. Listen, you got an exhaustive list, dude.
No, I know. He's, with my luck, he's probably going to be on my tribe. And the only reason why I say that is because, like I said, I've been looking at people. So I wore red Crocs to kind of see, like, if anybody would be like, oh my God, is he on the red tribe? And Conor McGregor wears red shoes. So, like, I don't know if he was on the same type of timing as I'm on, but, like, I'm looking into everything, truthfully.
Of course.
So I'm like, you know what? If he's on the red tribe, God bless me, because, you know, with the new era, I think 4 out of the 8 seasons, there's always this disaster tribe, and I'm fucking praying to God it's not me. So, yeah, I think that's probably my good vibes. All in all, I think there's a lot of people that are not giving me nothing, which I like, and then there's a lot of people giving a lot of people a lot of things, which I don't like, because I think that's sloppy gameplay, and I don't want to really work with that. But I'm just judging a book by its cover.
Yeah.
We can step on the beach and all that's out the window, so.
Well, let's move into maybe some other things you hope to recruit in the form of idols, advantages, journeys. What's your approach to that? Are you going to grab it?
I think the new era, in some ways, deteriorates a lot of players from idols and advantages. And I would be lying if I said I wasn't one of them. I think 46 kind of scared the fans and like people like myself a lot, because I think 5 straight were found and not played.
Yeah.
And 47, I think Rachel was the only one that played one to be. I don't remember. But
yeah, I mean, Roman Gabe played theirs like the first opportunity they could.
Right, and that's because they didn't want to be like 46. And I think idols and advantages in this game, and, you know, the journey's just one thing that I kind of have a qualm about as a super fan, because like 48, for instance, like Justin and Bianca literally had no say in their votes, and then they got fucking fucked.
Yeah.
So obviously every season's different, but I think I would love to go to the journey because information in this game is key. I can control who I say things to, what I say things to. Whoever goes in another journey, we can convolute and decide what we want to say. Information in this game is key, and I rather know where advantages and idols are than don't. I don't necessarily need to have them in my pockets, even though the fan fiction super fan in me would love it, because I'd love to do things that have never been done before that I got it. Kind of like Tony, I forgot what he said in Game Changers. You had a spy shack, a spy nest, and a spy bunker. Like, I have some weird shit I want to do too, but like, you need idols to do that. And I don't think I'm hitting the beach looking for idols. I think that's where if it comes to me, if I'm looking for firewood and I, browse and I see something, I'm gonna absolutely go for it. My only thing is that now it's all about the Beware advantage. A big thing that I actually really loved and hope they bring back is the birdcage idol. I think that was a good concept because it got everybody on their toes. Like, they'll know where the idol is. Oh my God, it's gone. Who the fuck has it? Whereas everything else is kind of like a mystery. But I worry because I'm not the biggest puzzle guy. So a lot of these Beware advantages, like figure out the puzzle or some shit. And like the lore with the idol is like, you don't want to tell anybody. And the Beware advantage kind of, I don't want to say it forces your hand, but it almost lets you use it as a token of trust because you kind of have to work together. And I don't know if I really like that, but I can't really complain. If I find the idol and I have a trusted ally, if I can find my Steven to my JT, like, I can't complain.
What is your hottest Survivor take? I know you've got some loaded up in the chamber.
Oh, man, I really do, but I think the biggest, or actually I'll have two.
Okay.
This isn't really a hot take. Maybe for production it's a hot take, but I think they need to bring touchy subjects back.
Ooh.
It hasn't been back, I think, since San Juan del Sur.
Yeah.
And I get it from a production standpoint, like the majority alliance can kind of game it, but like figure out a way behind it. Like, don't have the drama be manufactured through advantages and idols. Have the drama be manufactured within the people. Like, imagine everybody's just like, who's playing the best game? So-and-so. Oh, fuck, now I gotta figure out how to combat that perception. I think it's needed, especially it's never happened in the new era. They brought the auction back. Why not bring touchy subjects? I think it's a must. But that's not really a hot take. I think my hot take, and I think this is a hot take now because of the winners that we've recently gotten. I think in the new era, the majority of winners, and when I was bored too, I was like going through all the winner lists and I was like, all right, what would I classify this winner as? Like a complete winner in terms of social, strategic, physical? Is this a physical winner, social winner, strategic winner, whatever? I think 5 out of the 7 I had are all social players.
Yeah.
And I think the new era kind of favors social players that are like really good one-on-one interpersonal relationships. So I think my hot take is that the best player doesn't always win the season.
Okay.
And the reason why I say it's kind of a hot take is I think a lot of the fandom, like whether it's Survivor Twitter or Survivor Reddit, they always say like, whoever got the jury votes at the end, whoever was like, deserves to win. And I agree. If you're at the end and you get the jurors to vote for you, you 100% deserve the win. But I don't think that crowns you the best player. Like, I go down the list and I think of like, David didn't win his season. David Wright. Omer didn't win his season. 42. Jesse didn't win his season. Like, the list kind of goes on. And I think that's not a bad thing. You don't have to be the best player to win the season. But I think a lot of like people online say like, oh, if you won the season, you're the best player. And I don't think that's true.
Well, on that note, let's put yourself in this juror's shoes because to your point, the interesting thing about the jury vote 25 years going strong is that everyone has a different piece of criteria.
Right.
What would be your, at this moment, like core value you would use to vote for somebody? If the sentence was, if I was a juror, I'm voting for blank, fill in the blank.
I think objectively, I'm voting for the best game. And what that means to me is somebody that had the most pull strategically. I think what made me fall in love with the show as a super fan, as a student of the game as I am, is the social politicking, it's the strategic mindset, it's the manipulation. It's like, and not everybody plays this way, but like, you think about the Survivor greats, right? Survivor Mount Rushmore, which I'm hoping to be on.
There we go.
Obviously, you know, when you think of Survivor Mount Rushmore, you think of Sandra, you think of Tony, you think of Boston Rob, you think of Parv, you think of Sari. They've all played multiple times. So for my journey to being, because I didn't come to Survivor just to be a winner. I came to Survivor genuinely, and I mean this, like, to be one of the greats. Like I said, dream big, dream bigger.
Yeah.
It's like, why do I want to just be the winner? Like, I want to be one of the fucking GOATs. I want to be one of the greatest of all time. And that's what I'm aiming for. But when I go back to kind of like as a juror, I like people, or I respect games that people had a say in, right?
Yeah.
Like, people conducted blindsides. People were able to avoid the vote. Like, Tony's winners at War Games, like, he never had a vote casted against him. He didn't get every single vote, but, like, he ran a lot of the game. Like, his extortion episode, where he just had, 20 confessionals, got all the fire tokens, blindsided, I think, Sophie that episode. Yep. Like, it was fucking cinema.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Cinema. Like, shit like that gets my adrenaline going. And I hope, I hope it's me, and I know it's me, but if it's not, I hope the winner that represents our season has a lot of say in that. And like I said, this is not to cut anybody out. Like, Kenzie, for instance, I think Kenzie played a great game, but I think if you look at my criteria, Charlie should have won. But I think Kenzie's another one, because I think Kenzie, for someone that plays a social game, I think she was one of the more well-edited social players.
It's a really tough thing to edit, because it's like, when so much of these relationships are transactional, at least from our perspective, it's tough to personify living out there with that person 24/7.
Right. And I think Kenzie, for instance, was well edited compared to, like, maybe a Michelle from Co Wrong, where we didn't really see the interpersonal relationships, and people are like, oh my god, she got robbed, but, like, we don't see the behind the scenes. Whereas Kenzie, I think we saw a lot more of it. So for me personally, I want to vote for the best player, which in my criteria is someone that orchestrates a lot of the game.
Last but certainly not least, if you could bring a celebrity or a fictional character out as your loved one for the loved ones visit, we're bringing it back. Who are you picking and why?
Oh, man. All right, so I'm going to go with my two idols. I think, number one, it's Mr. You Can't See Me, John Cena, like I said earlier. I wasn't watching Survivor. I was either watching the New York Yankees play or WWE wrestling. And John Cena, I'm like in a Kmart, Walmart, broke boy version, like inner John Cena. Like, I have the grit. I have hustle, loyalty, respect.
So you don't need these iPods. You just have the playing in your head at all times.
Literally, it's like either that or fucking Eye of the Tiger. It's like I just got it replaying in my head. Gets me so amped. Gets me so motivated. And with the persona, like the man, the myth, the legend, Rizo God, Riz God, baby, it's kind of very like WWE-like in a way. Yeah. So I'd love for John Cena to come out here, because if I was down in the dumps or shit's not going right, he'll grab me by the shoulder with his fucking 250-pound chiseled self, and we'd be like, Rizzo, lock the fuck in. You made it on Survivor. Don't let these people see what you're doing. Let the producers see that you're going to win this game. Or, I don't know, some cringe shit. But John Cena is definitely someone that I would love. And another one I would say is probably Derek Jeter.
Nice.
I think, being a New Yorker, I was 10 minutes away from the Bronx. I still am. He embodied, like, all the media, all the attention, like, all the lights were on him. And
he was El Capitan.
Exactly, El Capitan. He never fumbled. He never made a mistake. In 20-plus years in the media, like, I don't recall a bad story or bad press coming out about him. And I think that's how I kind of hold myself. I want people to look at me and respect me as a person, and obviously as a game player. And I think the way he carried himself, it would be very, like, loving on the island. He's gonna be like, hey man, with his soft tone voice, like, you got this. Like, if I led the Yankees to 5 World Series in the late and early 90s and 2000s, like, you could just fucking win this silly game. So I pick a lot of people that would inspire me or already have inspired me, and I think it would go a long way for me on the island.
You came into this interview, man, with a torpedo bat. Speaking of the Yankees, like, this passion that you have for this game is so palpable, and it's clear that you live and breathe so much that the show has brought for you that you hope to carry forward. So this has been such a delight to get the chance to talk with the man, the myth, the legend, Rizo God himself.
Mike, this is why you're one of the best at the business, because I probably said it maybe 3 to 5 times, and you already picked it up, and that's what I hope the audience picks up too on the confessionals. Is I'm imagining a little Timmy coming up to me and like, you're the man, the myth, the legend. And I'm like, get a picture. No, that was very egotistical. But, like, you could kind of get the mantra.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.